Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Thorne. This is now the third aside in my first video tutorial series about variables. In this video, we're going to be digging deeper into why we use snake case in Python and why it's good practices and why the Python community suggests, they recommend that you use it. But before we do that, let's get some examples shown before we move into the descriptive version of it and the reasons why. With that said, let's get started. So as we see here, we have descriptive variable names. Now, I've made another video, if you haven't watched it, so it's the 1.2, goes through all of the different types of context, descriptions, and so on, why you should do that. But let's just go through these. So user underscore name. It's pretty descriptive. We see the name of it. I mean, we could say user underscore name, or sorry, user name or user underscore name, but that is really quite clear that it is a username for that one person. And num of attempts. Now, I'm not a big fan of this, but I'd prefer, if you're going to do num of attempts, then you do number of attempts, and then to say 3. You could also say attempts count equals 3. You know, that's the attempts come first, and then the counts. It's up to you, but as long as it's explicit. And in all fairness, I always try to add the data type to the variable name as well, if possible. Now here we have number, and we have like user name, or name is going to be a string already. So let's move on to the next one. Easy to read and understand. Total sales. Okay, well, total sales, is this then to be the number of items you've sold, or is it the total revenue that you've sold? Now, if this was total number of sales, then that would make sense. So this would now be the total number of products that we sold, right? And then this is the total average, or the average number of products that we sold last month, right? But here it could be talking about revenue here, right? And so it would be more better to have, say, average revenue per month if it's to do with revenue, or net profit, and so on. So try and be even more explicit in your naming convention if possible, all right? Now, consistent with Python's convention is that Python community, they want you to use lowercase and then separated by, or words separated by an underscore, all right? So, and as we can see here, daily temperature, right? Well, this really is daily temperatures, you know what I mean? So we can critique it, but daily temperature, or if we're going to say here, we could say list of daily temperatures, or it could be then array of daily temperatures, and so on, right? But this is down to you how explicit you want to be. But just remember, the convention is obviously to be clear, descriptive, concise, and separate all words by an underscore, and it all be lowercase. Because remember, Python is a case-sensitive programming language, which means that if we copy-paste this and we then say that this is then array of daily temperatures, right? They're two different variables now. So clear separation of words. Now, our eyes and our brain, they work in different ways, and some might say that you can read my file size better, and others might say you can read max file size better. Yeah, okay, I'm not here to dispute that. It looks like right now that this is the easier to read. I mean, if this was super long, our eyes probably would read this faster, I'm guessing. There's something that we could probably have a conversation about in the comments, so let's go for it, shall we? Which one is subjectively easier to read, and which one do you think is objectively better to write so we can read it? So let's talk about the bad practices now, right? And this is like inconsistent with the convention of the Python community, right? And user number, right? Well, considering the fact that John Doe and user number, that one's first of all not a number, and then the naming convention's wrong. I mean, this is here is, I would say, so pack up your stuff, right? Take your bag outside, hand in your security pass at the desk, and please don't come back as a developer, right? That's a good sign there. Number of attempts, well, yeah, okay. If you want to go and work for Microsoft or do C# programming or something like that, that's probably bang on correct way of doing it, but not for the rest of the world, all right? Even as other developers would look at it, they wouldn't want you to do that, all right? This, once again, I've got nothing against average sales per month here, because average sales per month, I would much prefer to say revenue. If sales is supposed to be synonymous with revenue, then I would much prefer to say average revenue, or average total revenue, or average net profit, or whatever it is that's going to be in there. And daily temperature, once again, if it's a list, then use plural, all right? Don't just use daily temperature, because daily temperature is a single thing, right? And max file size, once again, this is all down to you. But so let's just have a quick look at some pros that we've got here, and let's get rid of this. So first of all, we have readability. Like variable names in snake case are easier to read and understand. Each word is separated by an underscore, providing clear distinctions. All right, this is the whole point about it, is that developers don't need to think to understand what you've written. They see it and they understand it, and they're not wasting time trying to interpret what you were talking about. All right. Snake case allows for descriptive variable names. You can convey the purpose or content of a variable effectively. Now remember that it's the context that's more important than the descriptiveness, first of all. If you can give someone context first, then the description can be less descriptive, because the rest is already inferred based upon the context. Now, if you don't have any context, you need to put the context inside of the variable name so it's explicit, right? Otherwise, you are going to have some ambiguousness about what it is you're doing, right? Otherwise, put a comment, but a good variable name doesn't need a comment either. Consistency, right? This is it. Don't jump from this convention to that convention, backwards and forwards. If you have a project that and have already pre-decided what the coding convention is going to be like, and so on, then stick to it, all right? Many projects and companies, they have it at a company level rather than at a specific like library level or project level or a module level. They define it and say all developers will do this, and your code will normally go through some checker in continuous integration to say whether or not your branch can be even committed or even be merged, and so on. So if you're going to submit crap code, expect to have some kind of slap round the back of the head. Yeah, okay, today that doesn't work, but slap round the back of the head to say, hey, sort your code out because it's horrible. It's code smell is actually what it's called. Compatibility. Many libraries and frameworks use snake case. Now, if you're using the likes of JSON, or you've got to parse things and you've got variable names, that code could just be specifically looking for separation of words using underscore, right? Or it could take a sentence and split it down, or then make it safe by changing any white space with underscores. So you need to understand is how is your code base, and how are the other libraries going to use your code, and is your code then being like transpiled into another language? Is it being parsed to do something else? So if the whole community is using snake case, then don't be a contrarian. Follow it as well, right? Is disagree and commit. Understand you don't like it, but if everyone else is doing it, do it that way. All right. Anyway, so let's now look at the cons for it. The cons is probably you'll lose your job, right? It's normally a good one to avoid. Inconsistency. Inconsistent variable naming makes the code harder to read and maintain. It's a great argument. Mixing different naming styles can lead to confusion. Confusion costs money. And if you're just developing your own code for your own stuff, it doesn't matter. You can get confused. But if customers are paying good money per hour for your work and you write crap code and then your lead developer needs to check it and then the CI server's got to run, which is costing money as well, and that goes back and then your project manager says, why is this not working? You've just cost money, and over time you're going to lose your job because there isn't a better developer around the corner that's waiting to fill your boots, all right? Probably for less money as well. And good companies will pay good developers more money if they don't do these things, right? If they actually follow, you will get paid more money because they know they can leave you alone and your code will get submitted and it'll just get merged automatically. So it's always an advantage. Non-conventional, right? Just being a developer that doesn't abide by the conventions is already, get rid of the person. This person's a contrarian. And when you're writing code in a group, you want to have people that understand it's the group that's more important than the individual. It's the solving the task is more important than your own personal beliefs about whether the code does or doesn't look bad. If your lead developer or your boss or your architect has said, this is how we write code, whether you think it's smelly or not, just write it like that and adhere to what the other communities are sending as a convention. And in this case, Python community is saying, hey, we use snake case, done. And that's it. Just understand that. Readability, like I said, this is open for a discussion whether it is more readable or not more readable, but it doesn't matter. Once again, if you've got a coding convention, then stick to it. All right. So in summary, use snake case for variable naming in Python offers several advantages, including improved readability, descriptiveness, consistency, and compatibility with the Python ecosystem. Avoiding snake case can lead to inconsistencies, decreased descriptiveness, non-conventional practices, and reduced code readability, ultimately affecting it. Yeah, and you might not get the job. So if you're going to work as a Python developer, learn how to be a Python developer, and this is what it comes with. All right. It's like wanting to play football and be a professional footballer. If you're going to start using your hands and start throwing the ball because you think it's football, right? And you say, oh no, football's called soccer. No football team, as in I mean a football team, is going to want you to play on that team because you keep getting a handball and it's called football. It's not called soccer. All right. Anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to have a discussion with me in the comment section below and see whether you can bring up any points that are of interest to me, to others. And I do this for free. Please give me a like. It helps me, it helps others to find this video, and it just makes me feel a little bit better as well. So thanks very much for watching. I love doing these videos. I love that you're still watching. I'm giving you a thumbs up right now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye.